Hello, welcome to Kreations by Klare. I want to share the process of my repainting and repair of this cute little 1960s ceramic Cocker Spaniel. He was in my greenhouse since I purchased my home in 1995, and then some years ago I placed him in my patio exposed to our Texas hot weather. And then one day I saw my favorite upcycler, Yvonne from Ginger Chick, and she repaired a swan, which gave me the idea to repair my cute little spaniel. To start off, I did clean them up very well, washed them and cleaned them. And then to repair the hole in the crack, I used DOS airdryclay. I tried to form his little foot with the clay, and once I got it like I wanted it, I did put some E6000 glue to hold it down. I used a small amount of water on my finger to smooth it out, smooth the clay nice and smooth to his paws and legs. And I also let the figurine dry a couple of days since it was a nice thick piece of clay for the repair. For the first coat of paint, I applied Snow White chalk paint all over the figurine, and it did require a second coat, so which I applied the second coat after a couple of hours. My plan is to repaint him and restore him back to the original paint job, and see for yourself as I continue showing you this video. After the white chalk paint was dry, I decided to proceed to outline his eyes and his nose and his whiskers and his eyelashes. Then I realized, oops, I probably should have applied the base coat of his fur. So I did painted him with Folk Art Cool Bisque acrylic paint. But that was a very pretty color. And I did have to correct some of his eyes on his eyelashes. It kind of smeared it. But the good thing about this paint, it covers very well. Then I started applying the browns to his head, and this was like a dark brown mixed with a yellow and an orange to give it that kind of orangey hues that I could see on the original Spaniel. As I'm applying the final coats to his fur on his hind feet and his front feet, not very happy with the way it's come out. So I decided to paint him again. So with the lighter color and curls on his feet. So I repainted him with 2 coats of white chalk paint and gave him a coat of bisque for his undercoat. And with on his ears, I applied a brown mixed in with white. As you can see, I painted him a little bit lighter and put the highlights a little bit more with white. I continued with lighter tones of brown and more white mixed in with the brown. But on his hind legs and front feet, I decided to put some curls. Well, that's where I messed up. Again, I don't like it. So, but I continued on to see if for some reason, I just got to see the final picture. So I continued on putting some little dark shading on his ears, little swirls of his curls on his ears. Okay, here we go again. Third time. What did they say? Third time's a charm, or something like that. Okay, 2 more coats of white chalk paint. I painted this little guy. This time I did not put a base coat of the color bisque. I went straight away with a light brown color. Took a brown, mixed it in with white. It's almost like a tan or camel-like color. Start with his head. Start the painting in the fur. And what I did a little different is I left little spots of white chalk paint exposed, sort of to represent the um, the flow of his wavy white his wavy fur in his ears. This picture I pulled from Pinterest is going to be the inspiration for the coloring on painting this dog. I hope I like it this time. I think I will. And this third time, I'm actually penciling, drawing in his eyes, his nose, and some of his spots throughout the body, his claws. This drawing in the spots really helped me visualize it much better instead of just haphazardly painting it on his body. And then if I decided I wanted another spot, I just added it. This is one of the most satisfying parts of painting for me is the outlining in the darker color. Here I'm using the black for his claws on his feet or his paws. And for his nose, his eyes, eyelashes, and then also outlining the bow on his collar. And now I'm taking the darker brown and putting in some shading in his wavy ears. And I'm trying to be careful to not overdo it because I think that was my mistake on the first paint job. So I'm just trying to be careful and applying just sparingly, and then I'll go back and add some more if I need it. The brush that I'm using is a number 2 made by Art Advantage. It's not very thin, but it's not very thick. But I like the thickness of the lines that it makes throughout his fur, in his ears and the eyes. And sometimes you have to play around with the brushes to find the right thinness, the right lines that you like in your painting. And here I'm adding the dark brown to his bottom spots, little tiny spots, and then the bigger patches, just lightly trying to take it easy, or trying to apply the shading where it would look most natural. I did follow the picture that I have of him in the valentine to help me decide on where to put the dark spots. And so now this is where I go back and decide to put in a little bit more uh, shading with the dark brown, or put a little bit more waviness, like to interpret in his wavy fur on his backside, back spots, his leg. So now I'm painting his tongue with a little pink. And I'm not sure why I put on gloves. Maybe I was thinking I may have would smear it. And now I sign my alias name, Klare, and the year, and I draw my little rose. I usually draw a little rose with after I finish completing an art piece, if there's room. Now I'm going to apply 3 coats of Mod Podge but I will let it dry in between each coat, and usually it's going to take maybe 2 days for in between every 2 days, because I would paint it and then the next day I would feel a little tackiness. So I left it another day, and then I would come in with that second or third coat. If I could change something on him now, I wished I would have painted his collar the same light blue as the original Spaniel. But don't be surprised if I come back and paint it again and make it blue. Here's the Cocker Spaniel before, and here's the after. Thank you for watching my video. Bye-bye.